Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students taking Introduction to Linguistics this summer semester, this could be our final week. Today I am going to talk about the rest of the phrases in English. I think during the last week we tackled and dealt with the verb phrase and noun phrase, and last lecture I talked about the different types of verb phrase and the type of verbs in English, and we said there are about 5 types of verb in English. Number 1, intransitive verb. Number 2, transitive verb. And number 3, the transitive verb. Number 4, linking verb. And number 5, transitive complex verb. And we confirmed that a complex verb is followed by an object, which is followed by a complement of object. Okay, and now swiftly moving on to the next point of importance, which is adverbs and adverb phrases. An adverb is another word category. Adverbs are related to manner, time, place, sometimes a frequency, degree, and so on. So they usually answer questions like how, when, where. So once again, adverbs are words related to manner, time, or place. If I say tomorrow, that is adverb of time. If I say here, there, in this room, these are adverbs of a place. If I say very, extremely, okay, these are adverbs of degree. If I say often, sometimes they are adverbs of a frequency, and so on. Okay, saying where is Jack? Jack is in the kitchen. So in the kitchen is adverb of a place because it answers the question where. What time did he come? He came at 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock is an adverb of time, and once again it is a prepositional phrase. So here we have examples. Ken snores loudly. We need to put full stop. Ken snores loudly. So loudly is an adverb. As you see, the word loudly ends with ly. So usually most adverbs end or finish with ly. So an adverb is a word that both modifies a verb. It describes the verb. It modifies the verb. It is added to the verb. The baby cried continually. If you ask a question, who is snoring? Who snores at night? Ken does. Okay, who snores loudly at night? You can say who snores loudly at night? Ken. How does he snore loudly? How does he snore loudly? So the degree of his snoring is loud. The baby cried continually. Okay, when did the baby cry? Continually, frequently, all the time. So continually and loudly, once again, both modify or describe the verb snores, and continually describes the verb cried. So these are called circumstance adverbs or circumstantial adverbs, which usually end in ly. The adverb is said to modify the verb as in the above examples. An adverb phrase comes under the phrase category and is formed by one or more constituents. For example, Ken snores loudly. Loudly is the adverb phrase. Loudly, or can say very loud, as you see. So that is adverb of degree. So very loudly is an adverb phrase. So we have a pre-modifier, which is very, like adjectives, very good, very loud, very strong, very strongly, very powerfully. So here loudly is the circumstance adverb. And very is a degree adverb or an adverb of degree. A degree adverb tells us to what degree something is done. I would say Sarah dusted the room carefully. Carefully, okay, so it's adverb of degree or adverb of manner. How did she clean the room? Very carefully. Other degree adverbs include words like quite, too, high, extremely, more, less, rather, and so on. I would say rather quickly, less quickly, more slowly, extremely slowly, highly, wonderfully, and so on. So all these are adverbs of degree, pre-modifying adverbs. And remember, these adverbs of degree can pre-modify adjectives. So if we have the adjective expensive, we can say very expensive, quite expensive, too expensive, highly expensive, or highly interested, extremely expensive, more expensive, less expensive, rather expensive, and so on. A degree adverb is said to modify or limit the sense of an adverb. It can't normally appear on its own in adverb phrase, so I can't Muhammad drives very, so there should be an adverb. Muhammad drives very fast. John rides his motorbike cautiously, very cautiously. I cannot say very or extremely without using that verb cautiously because it is the head noun. Therefore, an adverb phrase consists of an adverb preceded optionally by a degree adverb. So that is optional, but the head word, which is an adverb, is obligatory. So there are students taking Introduction to Linguistics. You need to understand that adverbs and adjectives can be, I'm not saying obligatory, I'm not saying must, can be pre-modified by adverbs of degree. Remember this. So what is the constitution of the following adverb phrases, or what is the constituent of the following adverb phrases? Extremely, seriously, too. So we have pre-modifiers. I would say extremely fast, seriously fast, we can say extremely fast, seriously injured, badly injured, I would say too loudly, and so on. If I say John was injured, John was seriously injured, he was driving seriously fast, and so on. The tree diagram for Ken snores very loudly. So now we have to consider the tree diagram and see how it is represented on the tree diagram. We have sentence, noun phrase, verb phrase. So the noun phrase, we have the noun that is a proper noun. We have Ken, and the verb, which is snores, and then verb phrase, because the verb phrase or the verb is both modified by adverb. We say adverb phrase. We have degree, that is adverb of degree. We say degree, and then we have adverb. So it becomes Ken snores very loudly. The constituents of a verb phrase vary according to the type of verb being used. So once again, when say this, it means that the position of the adverb can change. So it may come initially, it may be after the subject, or I mean in the middle. It can come finally. Carefully, Ahmed cleaned the room. Ahmed carefully cleaned the room. Ahmed cleaned the room carefully. So, I mean, the three different positions of the adverb carefully is corrected, but with a slight meaning. If I say carefully, Ahmed cleaned the room, say carefully, I mean, modifies the whole sentence. Ahmed carefully cleaned the room. It means that Ahmed did the cleaning while paying attention to everything in the room, but he cleaned the room carefully. It means that he did not leave even, I would say, a dust or a piece of dust. The constituents of the verb phrase vary according to that type of verb being used, and so on. Adverb phrases not only modify verbs, but adjectives and whole sentences too. So adverb phrases not only modify verbs, but also adjectives and whole sentences. Let's have an example. If I say, surprisingly, stop, Sarah traveled to England last month. Surprisingly, it means من المدهش من المستغرب, which can be replaced by it is surprising that Sarah traveled to London last month. Okay, but if it has a final position, the meaning will be different. Sarah traveled to London last month surprisingly. Sarah traveled to London last month surprisingly. It means, the way that she traveled was surprising, okay? Surprisingly, Sarah speaks English. من المدهش, it means I feel surprised that Sarah speaks English. But if it comes finally, the meaning will be different. Sarah speaks English surprisingly. سارة تتحدث الإنجليزية بطريقة غريبة, بطريقة مثيرة, okay? بطريقة مفاجئة. But if it comes initially, I would say من المستغرب, يعني I couldn't believe that she speaks English. يعني okay, if the adverb comes initially, then not all of them, then it can be replaced by it plus verb to be plus an adjective. So if I say here, unfortunately, the cat killed the mouse. We can say, unfortunately, we need to have a comma here. It is unfortunate that the cat killed the mouse. But if it comes finally, I cannot say the cat killed the mouse. It is unfortunate. No, I can't say this. Unfortunately, لسوء الحظ, the cat killed the mouse. So here, okay, the adverb unfortunately modifies the whole sentence. تضاف إلى الجملة بأكملها. The cat unfortunately killed the mouse. See the intonation. Unfortunately, the cat killed the mouse. The cat unfortunately killed the mouse. So here you have to lower your voice because you focus on the cat. Here you focus on your your feeling. The cat killed the mouse, unfortunately. So okay, we have three different positions of the same adverb with no change in meaning actually. Sentence adverbs modify sentences. They can appear in a range of sentence positions and often express an attitude or evaluation. They include words like frankly, certainly, actually, perhaps. Unfortunately, I would say perhaps. Ahmad will come tomorrow. Ahmad, perhaps will come tomorrow. Ahmad, perhaps, will come tomorrow. Ahmad will come tomorrow. Perhaps, okay, and so on. You can say honestly, Samira is a good teacher. Samira, honestly is a good teacher. Samira is a good teacher, honestly, and so on. We have sentence, adverb phrase here, remember, because it comes before the noun phrase. Sentence, adverb phrase, and then we have verb phrase. So we have the second point, which is the noun phrase. So because we have the cat, we have determiner, and we have noun. So remember, adverb phrase. I cannot say very unfortunately. I cannot say this because it expresses my opinion or my feeling about something or my attitude. Students, you will not be tested in this type of sentence diagram because you can't draw a sentence structure using Moodle because this kind of testing is electronic or is online testing. This is just for knowledge and you have to consider it as something abstract. You see now, okay, if you just go back, here we have sentence, adverb phrase, noun phrase, verb phrase. But when the adverb comes after the subject, here we'll have subject. Noun phrase, then we'll have adverb phrase. So we move the adverb phrase into this position, and remember this. It's clear now, subject, noun phrase, adverb phrase, and verb phrase. So what if the adverb comes finally? We will say sentence, noun phrase, verb phrase, and then adverb phrase, and so on. So we have noun phrase now, adverb phrase, okay, verb phrase. So things are very clear, and we have to follow the same rule here. Now, okay, just you have to look at this. try to consider the different positions of unfortunately. And the first here, it comes initially, you see sentence, adverb phrase, noun phrase, verb phrase, and then in the second example, you see how the position of unfortunately changes in the sentence. So on the structure, this is represented clearly. Now, okay, it comes finally. Sentence, noun phrase, verb phrase, adverb phrase. So unfortunately. Sentence adverbs modify the whole sentence and can appear in more than one position. So well, the point is that if an adverb modifies the whole sentence, it can appear, it can come, it can be in more than one position or place in the sentence. The adverb phrase nude is immediately dominated by the S nude. Okay, sentence nude, not by verb place nude, unlike when the adverb phrase modifies the verb. That's not important, you know, just you have to focus on the three different positions of the verb. I would say, frankly, Sammy is a good boy. Sammy, frankly, is a good boy. Sammy is a good boy, frankly. If the adverb phrase fits easily into another sentence position, then it is modifying the whole sentence rather than just the verb. Okay, so once again, if the adverb phrase modifies or describes the whole sentence, it can come or appear in different positions in the sentence. I mean, it can appear initially or after the subject, after the subject or at the end of the sentence, which means finally. But if the adverb modifies the verb, I think it doesn't have a free position. I would say Sammy walked slowly to school. I cannot say slowly Sammy walked to school or Sammy slowly walks to school. Remember, there is something important that you should take into consideration, which is the different positions, despite the different positions of the adverb or adverb phrase. The adverb phrase cannot come between the verb and the object. Why is it so? Because there should not be a barrier, a obstacle between the verb and its object. If I say Ahmed drives his car slowly or carefully, that's correct. Ahmed carefully drives his car, correct. But I cannot say Ahmed drives carefully his car. That is not acceptable in English, and that is not the case. Please, dear students, don't forget this. So in the exam, you have to remember that there should not be a barrier between the verb and its object. So if I say he is building quickly the house, you can say he is building the house quickly. Okay, you cannot say he's building quickly the house. That's absolutely unacceptable in English. Because there shouldn't be a barrier between the verb and its object. Okay. You see, because here we have the adverb, unfortunately, it describes or modifies the whole sentence, so it can change its position. It fits, the adverb, it fits well in the different positions than loudly, okay? So the adverb, unfortunately, can come or appear in different positions because it describes the whole sentence. Unlike loudly, loudly modifies the verb. How does he snore? Loudly. But okay, if you want to ask a question, unfortunately, Dad did not go to work yesterday. You can say, how did go to work? Why didn't Dad go to work? There is no answer for unfortunately. But how does he snore? Loudly, gently, okay, lightly, and so on. So when you say loud, Ken loudly, Ken snores, no. Ken loudly snores, no. Ken snores loudly, that's acceptable. The grammaticality of the first two sentences is questionable. A sentence adverb is often differentiated in writing by a comma, in speech by a particular intonation pattern. So that's why here we should have a comma. Ken, comma, there should be a comma, and here we should be a comma. Ken, unfortunately, snores. Ken snores, unfortunately, so we must have a comma here. Here, okay, we should have also a comma. Remember, comma, it should be between two commas, and here we should have a comma. Hopefully that this is very clear. Example, clearly he understands everything. Clearly, it means it is clear. Clearly he understands everything. He understands everything clearly. Okay, so here we have some differences in meaning. It's clearly, it is clearly he understands everything. Clearly, it is clearly, it is clear. So it is clear that he understands everything. Okay, he understands everything clearly because we have a comma. But if I say he understands everything clearly without a comma, so it means هو يفهم كل شيء بوضوح. But if I say he understands everything clearly, هو يفهم كل شيء من الواضح. واضح؟ من الواضح. And I will say من الواضح أو إنه لواضح. Okay? So he understands everything clearly. So here we have two different meanings. Okay? Because what applies to one adverb can't apply to all other adverbs. This means that it is. This means that it is clear to everyone else that understands. Okay, clearly, من الواضح. Adverbs and adverb phrases are complex feature of English because of their versatility. They are versatile. متعدد تنوع. Whether the adverb phrase is dominated by verb phrase or by sentence, its function is that of adverbial adverb. In three diagrams seen earlier, the first, in the three diagrams, the first noun phrase function as subject of the sentence, the verb as a predicator or a predicate, خبر. The second noun phrase as direct object, and the adverb phrase as adverbial. Okay, these distinctions, noun phrase, subject, verb, and predicate. Okay, a noun phrase as direct object, adverbial phrase as adverb, are the distinctions between form and function, or what a constituent is and what it does. So as we said last time, okay, if I say in the room is a prep phrase, but at the same it is adverbial because it is adverb of place. Okay, and so sometimes we have two different phrases but having the same function. I would say I'll see you tomorrow. So tomorrow is adverb of time, and it is adverb a phrase. I would say Rami is running very quickly. So very quickly is adverb of time. So it is adverb phrase. Very quickly as adverb phrase, and it is adverb here. Sami is in the room. So in the room is a prep phrase functioning as adverb of place. So the prep phrase, is the prep phrase is adverbial. This example earlier can be analyzed in the terms of function as Ken snores very loudly. So Ken is subject and snore is predicate or verb. Very loudly is adverb. So we have adverb of degree and we have adverb. Okay, thank you so much, dear students, inshallah, and hopefully we will meet in short time.